Welcome to Your Inspired Journey. I'm Carla Andrews, and I have the awesome pleasure, and I'm so excited to learn so much from Dolores Hirschmann. She is an internationally recognized coach, a strategist, and the founder of Masters in Clarity. It's an organization that really helps clients find their message, clarify the message, and then, of course, help you build your business. Welcome to Your Inspired Journey, Dolores. How are you today?
I am doing great, Carla. Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure because I know the last time we've talked, we covered so much, didn't we?
Yes, we were like, maybe I should start recording, you said.
And it's amazing. I call everyone my entrepreneur besties, and I think like we hit it right off. And it's exciting to know that there's so many of us who really are serving our clients, really helping them, take that message, clarify that message as you mentioned, and then of course building a business. Because without clarifying your message, can you build a business really?
Well, hard to drive somewhere where you don't know where you're going.
That's true. You might find yourself somewhere that you don't want to be, really.
Exactly. So
So, but
without clarity of your message, you really are, you have a hard time gaining traction.
exactly. So let me ask you this. Of course, I know the audience, they want to know exactly who is Dolores. Can you share a little bit about your journey, your message of how you got to this point of helping others?
Yes, and actually, I don't think I've ever said this in an interview, but I'm going to start with this. Did you know that the name Dolores, which is Spanish for the word not pain, but pains, multiple with an S? Um,
Wow.
and
Oh,
so I'm originally from Argentina. That's where my accent and my name is from. And again, I don't usually say this, but part of my journey, and I because I love the name of your podcast, and I think it fits for me to share this, is it's been many years of me kind of resisting my name because I thought to myself, who will name a child Pains, right? Dolores, multiple. But the truth is, there's such beauty in embracing our pain, in embracing our pain with an S, pains if need be. And so my journey is about embracing my pain, which is happens to be my name. And I find that Dolores right now sounds and feels beautiful to me because it's a reflection of my journey. So I was born and raised in Argentina. I went to university there, went to business school, and I met my husband because he was a tourist in Buenos Aires in Argentina. And
okay.
we went out for dinner. You're not supposed to date a tourist, but I did. And so it was a fast dating because we decided to get married 3 months after the day we met, and we got married
Wow.
7 months after the day we met. So I have been here in the US for over 20 years, and we have a beautiful family. We have 4 children. And my journey has been one of curiosity and one of really asking myself on a constant basis, what was I meant to do? What was I put on this earth for? Like, you can ask my mother, like every other day I would call and say, what am I, what would I say? I usually say to her, what should I do? What should I do? And she got tired of that. And a few years ago, she noticed that I had not called her to ask her that question for a few years. It makes sense because the last 6 7 years I found my purpose and I'm no longer wondering
Mhm.
what should I do, right? But I think my journey is about finding my path through working for an entrepreneur, a nonprofit company. And I did online learning back in 1988, where we were helping kids learn entrepreneurship through an online program. Then I founded a couple of businesses, fashion business, education business. And then when I was 38, I was kind of like lost and looking at my resume. I don't know if this ever happened to you, Carla, that you look at your LinkedIn and like, whoa, I've done so many different things. What am I really good at, right? And that's where I found myself in my late 30s. And I went back to school. I started coaching. I became a certified executive and life coach. And that's
One
when
second.
everything turned.
One second. One second. Do you hear that noise? Do you hear that noise?
Nope.
Oh, thank God. But it was the lawnmower. The
Oh,
lawn man
okay.
is outside. You were
Did
doing
you, the
beautifully.
audience,
But
hear that
anyway,
noise?
yes, right? We didn't want that to be part of it. But that is fantastic that, was it was interesting how you were able to connect, your path. You were able to at least even start asking that question. Who am I? What am I here to do? What journey should I be inspired to take? But the fact that you're even asking that question is really important. And you had, the opportunity to, I'm sure, like you said, when you're looking at our LinkedIn and our resumes, and yes, same, similar with me, I kind of knew that I was going to go in the math science area, but still, you know how many jobs you can get in that area. So you're right. It is important to really get that clarity and get that start of knowing who you are and then connecting that to what it is that you do.
Yeah, yeah. And so to make the story short, I launched my coaching business 6 years ago, and that was going really well, 6 or 7 years ago, until a year or two into it, I was like, okay, this is good, but there's something missing, and I couldn't put my finger to it. So I asked myself, and this I invite everybody who's looking for their inspired journey to ask themselves this question. I asked
Mm-hmm.
myself, what would I do for free all day long? And the answer to my own question was I would hang out with people with really big ideas. And that's
That's
where
awesome.
you pose the question, you get your answer, and then the universe steps in and gives you the sign and synchronicities. That's when a group of people approached me here in my city and said, I know you've been involved with TED before, and I know that you have a license to organize a TEDx. Why don't we organize a TEDx for our community? And so that's when I volunteered to run a local TEDx here in my community. And that kind of changed a lot of things for me. First of all, I all of a sudden found that I was doing something that I would do for free all day long, and I was doing it for free, that was hanging out with people with big ideas. But I also found a whole set of skills that I didn't know I had, or that I had never tested them in that context, which was helping people clarify their core message and speak in a way that was engaging, because I was doing all of the coaching for our speakers that were selected for our stage. And so I always say to people who are lost, I say, go find something that you can volunteer for and allow it to lead you to your path. And
Yes.
so that kind of I brought that back into my company. I changed my name. Back then, my company was under my personal name, and I moved it to Masters in Clarity, because what I found is that I love getting people unstuck by guiding them to their own clarity.
One second.
Um,
One second. One second. I don't know if I want to make sure that your is clear. And you don't hear it at all. That's beautiful. That means they won't hear it either. Okay, go ahead. Sorry about that. So just
um,
in case if you see me put my finger up, that's going to be a pause for us, just to ensure that the audio is perfect. Okay,
Perfect.
beautiful. So you mentioned that you were able to help and for the TED, you were doing it for free.
Yeah, and so in that process of just following my heart, I learned about skill sets and services, if you want, that people needed, that I loved delivering. And so
Wow.
when I asked people, what would you do for free all day long, they say, I wouldn't do anything for free. I said, wait, trust me, find that you will do for free all day long, and then make a business out of it. It doesn't mean you're going to work for free. It means that don't give it too much. Don't put yourself too much pressure in the finding the journey, because you're going to get stuck. Be curious, play, and in the play, you'll find your work. But if you are
That's it.
judging everything you do and asking, will this make me money? Will this make me money? you know, it's never ending, and you'll never actually get to the place of joy.
And not only that too, you know, what you chase, you don't catch, in a sense.
Exactly. I love
So, and I always say that purpose is an action verb.
that.
It's in doing that you will find your purpose.
Yes.
Because a lot of times you can write, you can journal all you want, you can write all, you know, all day long, but it's something beautiful that when you're in the space of taking action, of, like, as you mentioned, volunteering with the next generation, volunteering with the elderly, volunteering, and then you may be right there in the elder care, and this is when they're calling you out. Help me with this machine, help me with this campaign, help me with the meals. It's gonna come out no matter what as to what it is that you love. So that is perfect of how you mentioned that. Do the volunteering work, do take the action, see what you can do for free, and without feeling as if you're giving so much of yourself, because it's so natural to you, it's a gifting to you, and then turn it into a business. I loved how you mentioned that. Taking the free and doing the freemium, that's the midpoint. And then now you'll be getting paid premium for what it is that you love to do. And that's exactly what your inspired journey is about. That's how you stay inspired, right?
Exactly.
We're all on a journey, right? Aren't we all on a journey? We're on a journey, but are you inspired? And I've met so many entrepreneurs, and a lot of times they're very good at what it is that they're doing, but they're not inspired.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh, I got to go back to doing. Wait a
And
minute,
then,
you built this, you know, but they're not inspired.
and they run out of steam because they're not inspired.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. And so you can do this, what you're doing every day, because this is what you love to do.